It's the Traumedy Podcast. Trauma plus comedy equals Traumedy. This week on Traumedy.
That'll be so cool. I hope you send some pictures. I want to see. Will you have those on your Instagram?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
The Happy Amputee scuba diving. Is there anything, do you do anything with the limb, or do you just leave is there a flipper limb? Or?
There's some out there, but the only thing I've done is I've taken my leg entirely off.
Yeah.
And it's actually really freeing because when you're in the water, it's just like you float and when you scuba dive. So you're not having to swim. Like when I go to the pool, I swim in circles and so.
Do you, like a shark?
Yeah.
You're listening to Traumedy, the podcast that helps you take your pain and play with it. I'm Nancy Norton. I am a former nurse, comedian, and keynote speaker about the power of humor, why we need it, how it helps us.
Bring the power of humor to your next event with award-winning comedian Nancy Norton. Nancy got out of healthcare for the same reason a lot of people get into it, to save lives. Message Nancy at nancynorton.tv. The Traumedy Podcast is sponsored by Crybaby Badass. You have to feel it to heal it. You are a Crybaby Badass luminary. See your light in the mirror. Do you have a trauma? Hey, you listening, do you have a Traumedy story to share? If so, send Nancy a message at nancynorton.tv.
But wait, there's more. This is part 2 with Kayla Inman, the Happy Amputee. And I'm so glad we continued to talk because there was a whole next chapter in her story that really touched my heart and also inspired me because I'm in a recovery program. And one of the mottos is we go from hurting to healing to helping. And in fact, this is what I'm trying to do here with Traumedy. And again, it's nonlinear. I can still go into hurting. I can still go into healing and then back into helping. So it feels good. I hope that you're getting some help from this podcast. And yeah, reach out. Let me know if you'd like to be a guest or if you have any questions or any comments at all. I love to hear from you. So it's Nancy at nancynorton.tv. Hey, y'all. It's almost Nurses Week. And May 3rd, the very beginning of Nurses Week, I will be producing and performing on my show called Nurses Off the Charts. And you can be a part of the show. That's right. Every show, about a third of that show is audience participation, telling that wacky, wild, crazy, funny, sometimes magical miracle that happened on your shift. So come out to Nurses Off the Charts. It's at Comedy Works South. And message me if you need any help with the tickets. I have a few discount codes for my friends. So send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll hook you up with those discount codes. Enjoy this episode. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome to Traumedy, to part 2 with Kayla Inman. She's a TEDx speaker. She's a happy amputee. An incredible trauma survivor. When we were talking last week on Traumedy with the same outfit, we were talking that you and I have both had different ways of coping with pain with suicidal ideation, ironically. Mm-hmm. Like just saying, okay, listen, worst case scenario, I go to a beach, I drink a bunch of margaritas, maybe take a handful of pills or something, and just merge with the sand, return to Mother Earth. And you know what?
Go out in the way you want.
Go out in the way you want. Like that, at least have that power, right?
Yeah.
So just that fantasy alone can be a self-medication. So don't shame yourself if you're having it. Although you might want to talk to a therapist about it. Make sure that you're getting the resources you need because we don't want to lose you.
Yeah.
And we didn't lose you. Mm-hmm. And now you were saying, and again, we're going to go back, but maybe, should we end with this segment with what's happening? Let's just leave that at the end.
Okay.
Where you're headed. But you had, so this is your 5-year ampuversary.
Yep.
I will not sing again. That is my gift to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm going to call you tell me the date and I will leave you a voicemail. Happy Ampuversary. Oh, I said I wouldn't do it. But you did. You've survived. You've had 5 years of a new life.
Yes.
Of relief from the worst pain imaginable. And so you're like, hey, there's a lot of journeys. So tell us what happened. Okay, so after you got the new, like you woke up crying, you're sobbing, your tears of joy. The nurses came running in. You're like, I'm so happy. I don't have pain. Mm-hmm. And then the clarity that, and I'm
getting a divorce. I am like, that's it. I'm done.
Happy divorce anniversary. Happy
Yes.
divorce anniversary. Okay. I'm annoying myself. Okay. So then what happened?
Yeah. So between the time I broke my foot and the time I took my very first step with the prosthetic was 4 years, 9 months, and 26 days. Like that's how long this saga went on. So that's a long. I mean, there's people that go through pain a lot longer than that, but like to go through almost 5 years of just chronic pain is just
and not being able to move. Mm-hmm. You know the way you want to move. Like I was saying, running it. I do believe running saved my life. Humor has saved my life. Running. Yep. I don't know who I'd be if I couldn't. Those are my two things.
Yeah.
Being funny and fit.
Yeah.
That's it, you know, and the fitness is sort of like, really it's more about the movement and getting those endogenous morphines. Yeah. Or whatever, morphines. I'm talking like, I don't know. So, all right. So then you deal with that for 4 years, 9 months, 26 days. Yeah. Of just not happy, not, miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable.
Angry.
And angry because, well, you're in pain. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you got with this husband that was just treated you terribly. But okay, so now you're free of that.
Yes. Yeah. So going through all of that, it's a disability. It's something, but like it's not super visible because it's just your foot and you're just not moving. So like you're not seeing a lot of people, right? So my very first day, I get my prosthetic and I get to walk, and I have to walk with a walker because my brain remembers all that pain, and it's like, bitch, if you step down, this is gonna hurt. And I'm like, no, it's not. So I take my little walker. My ex-sister-in-law and I are walking through Target in the mall, and I'm just like beaming with joy because I'm like, I can walk again. And she's just like, whatever, you're just being a silly goose right now. And I remember so vividly this older lady, she's glaring at me, and she follows us through the mall, and she keeps glaring and glaring. And I'm over here like, well, and this is where the prosthetics start with the boldness, because I was like, well, if you're going to stare at me like that, I'm going to give you something to stare at.
And that's when you got like a shark.
Oh, I had her, my ex-sister-in-law, I had them paint a shark on my, they hand painted a shark all over it, like just beautiful. And it was it's in my box of legs. That's what I had to dig through to find the cover today.
You got a box of legs.
I have a box of legs now.
And your dog, Virgo, will go fetch them for you.
Yeah.
So these are a cover. They're a cover that just fit over the end of the prosthesis?
It's just, this one is the only one I have. Most of the prosthetics are like a design on the socket itself.
Oh, so it is an actual leg.
Yeah.
So you have several of these legs?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what.
Do you have legs for different purposes?
I do, kind of. Up until like a year and a half ago, I had 3 different legs. I had like a fancy leg with a high heel foot, so I could take it to events and wear some like nice shoes. Really, it's my skiing foot because I can like bend it just enough that I can get the right angle. But
wait, you ski?
Yeah. Oh, I ski. I run. I play beach volleyball.
What?
Oh yeah.
Okay, no excuses out there.
Sometimes excuses, though.
All right. All right. No shame. Shame-free zone.
Yes.
I'm just saying it's inspiring. I'm getting all tired up I'm like, what is that? Kayla's had to deal with me like, I got to go feed the crows and we'll come back and do part 2. I'm one of those like, whoa, is that? No, Nancy, it's a cord. It's not a spirit guide. All right. So, okay. Well, but this lady, what was up with her? Did you ever talk to her?
Oh, no, I never did. I just, in the moment, it was just like one of those things you can feel those eyes watching you. And that's what, my sister looked over and they were like, why is she staring? I was like, because I look ridiculous. I'm a 28-year-old woman with a walker and this like really bulky leg, because at the time I didn't know any better. I didn't know legs could be not bulky. And so I got this like big bulky prosthetic that just doesn't really fit my body, and it's just like, and I just looked out of place, you know?
Yeah. So she was, for whatever reason, studying you. I thought she was following you because you'd parked in the handicap stop parking lot or something, and she was like, wait a minute, is this real?
Yeah.
No, there was nothing like that.
No,
but it was just that idea that people, they are drawn, or they, captivated, I guess, by something, an anomaly or something different. And so then you're reclaiming your power by like, okay, I'll give you something to look at.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. And also a conversation piece. Like if people like have a little humor about it, like make it comfortable. Like with this guy, Jake, when we ended up talking about, I was on the last episode, watch part 1. I shook his hand and, he said it was from fireworks, ironically, because he was representing fire retardants.
Oh my gosh.
But he had, some sort of firework blow up in his hand. But I was just like, to me, I'd rather somebody, I don't know how to say, like, I don't want people pointing out my lazy eye all the time. Like now you kind of know it's this one. Like look over here, or the third eye if you can find it. But it just seems like there's an innocence to just asking a question. I don't know. What do you think about talking to folks? How do we...
So I find it's a generational issue, right?
Okay.
So I find, especially because right after my amputation, I started this career in an assisted living home. So I'm working with all these like people that are, they need help living with the daily activities. And so like I remember I went to work one day and I was in a wheelchair because I was like, my leg hurts so bad because I had overdone it. And I was like, I'm just going to take a day off.
Yeah.
And so I show up in my wheelchair and I'm the director of this facility. So I'm just like trying to help all these people. And this older woman comes up to me and she looks at me and she's standing there and she looks down and she goes, I need the director. I was like, that's me today. And she's like, you can't help me. And I was like, because I'm in a wheelchair? Like, that's outrageous. And like these older folks, they look at you with this like disgust almost.
Wow.
But then you have children who see like a cool shark on your leg. They're like, oh, that's so cool. And they come up and they're curious. You know?
Yeah. The difference between curiosity and judgment, I guess. And also, what is it in people? Do you think it's their own fear of that happening to them? Or like, you know what I mean? When they have that disgust, is it actually in a weird way, some sort of empathy where they're like, I remember when I used to take care of special needs kids, that was one of the last jobs I had as a nurse. And I had a client who was in a wheelchair and he had some disfigurements and things like that. And I just remember this little kid looking at him and saying, oh, that's too bad. And I was like, no, he's having a great day.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Like, but if they compare it to their own typical, whatever, ableist mentality.
Yeah.
You've learned so much, from having this. Like,
so much.
But what is the healthiest response? Like, it's not, I know you can't speak for every amputee and I can't speak for everybody with a facial disfigurement, but I feel like as long as somebody's coming from a place of curiosity, respect, hey, I'm just curious which eye, because people have asked me that. I'm just curious which eye to look at, and I'm like, that's a good question. It's lefty, typically. Every now and then righty takes over. Very, very seldom, though. But, how do you feel about folks asking you about your amputation? Well, I hear this whole session has been about asking you about your amputation.
Yeah. I find it particularly healing when I get to talk about it, because it is a lot of trauma and you have to release that trauma, because otherwise it's going to be bottled up and you're going to feel icky about it all the time.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people don't, because a lot of the times people don't have the candor to ask, like, oh my gosh, like, I really like your prosthetic. Where did you get the design? They don't think about asking about like the beauty of it. They go, what happened to you?
Yeah, because it is like a sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a mix of art and science. And I think that's really beautiful. I think that's amazing that they can, I work with someone who's been in the field for 38 years, something like that, a long time. So he started, carving wood legs, back in the 80s. And so he's like, yeah, going from that to this is like phenomenal. I was like, I don't think I could handle a wood leg. Like that's like a lot.
Right.
but
well, you would. I have a feeling you could handle anything at this point.
probably.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love, that you are the kind of person, and I know your TEDx is about resilience, and I'll put a link in the show notes so that people can find it, and I want to watch it. And did you send me a link to it? Not yet.
I don't think so.
You will.
Yeah.
But so it is amazing. I like hearing that you say that's a skill, because some people, I actually, at one of the conferences I went to, the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor, where I got certified in therapeutic humor, there was a presenter who talked about resilience being a born trait, that you can't get it. And I agree with you. I think it is something that not only can you learn the skill, but life, to survive, you must. It's just, you're going to get it. If you live through something like that, you are going to get skills of resilience. Mm-hmm. And the mind is amazing. Like, you're a creative person. You did that gratitude jar, and finding something to live for, in the future or in the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I get the comment a lot that like, oh, you're so strong. And it's like, well, that's because I had to practice it. Like that, I didn't want to be strong. I wanted to like have the soft life,
Yeah.
But
that's just not what was in store this time. And I don't understand if these are soul agreements that we signed up for these, but I am asking, and I do believe we can. We have learned a lot from suffering, thank you. Mm-hmm. But now may we please learn from delight and go toward things that lighten us.
Bring us joy.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So you found these beautiful, you got connected with, sound like a community.
Yeah.
Where you're like, where are the resources? You're one of those people that figured out.
Yeah, so it was actually more of a challenge than I thought. I lost my leg, and immediately I was like, I am going through this alone. I was living in the garage at the time because I was like, I got to get out of this divorce. Like, I got to get out of this marriage.
So you converted a garage room so that you could have separation?
I put the air mattress in there. I put all of my stuff in there, and I was like, this is where I'm living while I'm recovering from this major amputation. And I was just like, this is wild. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to find a support group. And I asked the prosthetic clinic at the time, I was like, hey, where's the support group at? And they're like, we don't have one. And I was like, okay, well, I'll start one. And so I started and founded this support group.
Wow.
That serves all of Western Colorado now. So,
wow. What is the name of it? How do people find it?
It's the Grand Valley Amputee Support Group. It's been somewhat inactive over the last year and a half because I've had a lot of medical trauma happen. But I keep posting.
You're the founder. Is it a Facebook page?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Facebook page, a Facebook group. And so it's nice to be able to like support. And it was so funny because I started this group, and it was like there was 3 people who showed up on the very first meeting, and a newspaper writer showed up too, and he took some photos, and he wrote this beautiful article about like starting this group. And I was like, that's crazy, because like
when you're in the garage, you're living in your garage in Grand Junction.
Yep.
The soon-to-be ex-husband is in the main house, which is also just ludicrous while you're recovering. Like he didn't have the decency to say, no, honey, I'll move out and give you space to heal.
Oh God, no.
No.
He doesn't have that kind of awareness.
Or heart. Yeah.
That's
so okay. So this is happening. You're in Grand Junction. You started this group, and that is so cool. And now, okay, so it's still out there, even though you're not as active right at this moment because you're the admin.
Yeah.
And maybe you could get a co-admin or something. You don't always have to be doing all the work. And, and you're in a recovery phase right now, you said, because you've had to have some new surgeries.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. So you're in your garage, going through divorce, sleeping on an air mattress, and you're like, I'm going to start a support group.
Yep.
That's crazy that they didn't have any resources for you.
Yeah. And that was like one of those moments where I sat there and I had asked them, I was like, man, I just like, what's out there? And they're like, I don't know. And I just kept like repeating to myself, like, if I need this level of support, there are other people that need it too. Yeah. And like, that was my motivation behind starting this all. Was like, if I need this, somebody else needs it. Like, I'm not alone in this journey. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. So you did it.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. And then what happened? Did you get divorced?
I did get divorced. It was magical.
That's a whole nother book, The Magical Divorce. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So it went well for you? Like the separation,
it was a challenge. That's what he, going through this and like getting the divorce and finalized and things like that. It was like when I went to go pick up things, like he would just come in and yell at me. And I like the very last time, like he had threatened to take the dogs, and I was like, you know what? I turned to him, and the very last thing I ever said to him, I was in the garage, I was packing up. I had so many sentimental things from like my great-great-grandmother's cedar chest and like all these things that I've collected over the years. And he came in, he started screaming at me, and I looked him dead in the eyes. I was like, if you yell at me one more word, I am leaving all of this shit for you to take care of. I am taking the dogs and I am gone, and you will never see me again. And no more than 30 seconds later starts screaming at me. I picked up the dog leashes, I grabbed 1 or 2 sentimental items, and I left, and I never turned around.
Wow, that's how much you needed that boundary.
I had to. Like it was so abusive, and it was so like, and like I keep going back to like, how do you treat someone poorly while they're going through the worst crisis of their life? And I like, to me, like there's nothing in my soul that would ever allow me to treat someone like that.
No, and you can't understand that brain. The more you try to go into that kind of brain, and it starts 3D printing in your own brain some weird code. That's what I discovered. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want to know. I don't want to understand it because it just does not compute. We are wired differently. If you have empathy, you cannot understand not having it. And if you don't have it, you can't understand having it.
Yep.
Period. I have found that to be true, and I have to like dust my hands of it. And like, I cannot teach. I taught cognitive empathy to an ex-boyfriend, and I regret it because I thought, oh, now he can fool people for a little bit.
Yep.
Whatever. They're on their own life path. They're gonna have to learn the hard way too. So
yep.
But so you left, and you never looked back, and
Nope.
you just you lost some of your sentimental items, but not your pets.
Not my pets.
Good for you.
Yeah. That was the deal breaker. Was like these are the dogs that kept me going. So
yeah, and these are the kind of people, unfortunately, like we talked about with my ex, who are cruel. Because it was cruel to me, but it was also cruel to the pets that I were deeply bonded with that parrot for 11 years. Like that was my baby for 11 years. I mean, he bonded with me immediately. He'd been with her for years, but then I moved in, and he just recognized this maternal thing in me because I wanted a baby, and I just babied him, and he became my baby.
Yep.
But just that was cruel to him as well. And these people do this stuff. Like I'm glad you knew. Like you've got good instincts. I'm glad you got out because who knows what he might have done. Who knows?
100%.
So you did good. You did the right thing.
Oh yeah, that's what one of the first times I stayed out with friends after my amputation, and I was like, I stayed out. We had fun. We were playing pool. We were just like shooting the shit for the night. And I remember my ex-sister-in-law texting me and going, he's looking for you. He was driving around searching the town for me. And I was like, ooh, that's super scary.
Yeah.
I need to exit this faster than I think.
Yeah.
So.
I'm glad you had that sister-in-law. Sounds like she was cool.
Yeah, I got her out of the divorce.
Oh, are you still friends with her?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool. I'm glad.
Yeah, we play video games regularly. It's super nice that they're like still a part of my life.
Oh,
and
that's great.
Yeah.
And that you can keep a boundary, like just don't need to.
Oh yeah.
What's his name can be a non grata. Persona non grata.
Yeah, I lost my parents from the divorce, but I gained them, so I was really excited about that.
You lost your parents?
Yeah, one of the like defining moments was I walked in to grab a lot of my stuff, and he had left this letter, and it's this apology letter from my mother to him that says, I'm so sorry you're going through this divorce. I'm so sorry. Kayla was so awful to you.
Oh, my God.
And I called my mom up, like, I don't know, 6 months prior, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. He's so abusive. And she immediately was like, you're lying, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and reading that, and then I called her after I saw that, and I was like, why did you do that? And she's like, I write apology letters to everybody who gets a divorce. I was like, you didn't do that for me. And it was like, in that moment, I was like, I can't do this. And I fully just like stopped contact with them at that point, and I didn't even let them know why, because I was like, nope, that crossed a line.
That crossed a big line.
Mm-hmm.
I feel for you because I know my mother was similar. Like, you're gonna regret, no, I'm not going to regret it.
No.
This is so infuriating, but good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's so infuriating, but good for you.
Yes.
I'm just saying,
Proud
though,
of you.
I am, though. It sounds like you have a very clear, whatever that is, that part of you that's like, I don't have to put up with this. I love myself. I deserve to have loving people in my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So many of us keep going back to the poison well. Yeah.
It's a hard lesson to learn, and it's something that it took a long time to recognize. And even this last go around where I did try, and I wrote them a letter, and I was like, this is why I went no contact with you. And I wanna have a relationship because I want to have parents, and that feels good. But it didn't work out, and that's what I ended up in the hospital, and my mom treated me so poorly while I was in the hospital. And I got back to the house and I sat down on the couch, and like I couldn't walk at the time, and I sat down. I was like, Mom, I really want to talk about what happened this week, because this week was really hard for me, and you actually made it harder, and I just want to talk about how we don't do that going forward. And she slammed the door, she yelled at me, and she was like, you're just making this all up. We don't need to talk about, and she slammed the door and left. And I called her an hour later, and I was like, I just want to talk about this. And she's just like, I didn't slam the door. I didn't do that. I was like, I have a Ring camera. Like, I can.
Validation.
Yeah.
We can't get enough validation sometimes. But because it's like, I always used to crave a video in the sky kind of thing. And even, I have been there. I've been there with my mom. I've been there with my ex. And it's crazy making. Mm-hmm. And yet, the truth. You can trust yourself. And I'm so sorry, because it is sad. It is something to be grieved, not to have parents that are there in the way you need them to be there.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And it's So I'm sorry. Yeah. It is something to grieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to go through it too, because it's a hard experience.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, my friends also are people like you. So it's like, okay, if I have to choose, I choose you, I choose to be in your soul group or your frequency. Mm-hmm. It's a frequency thing, I think. Feels like a vibration, like a higher vibration. That's just like, and I can dip in, don't get me wrong. There's certain times of the night where I feel like I go into a fear and lower vibration sometimes, and I will distract myself with chess.com or something, or doom scrolling, and I'm like, what, Nancy?
Yeah.
But so I'm not saying I'm above everything, but I definitely, as much as I can, I try to resource and get back to the frequency of whatever this is: humor, lightness, love.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if you've ever heard of the soul tie. Like, you have a soul family, and every time you come to Earth, you have a soul family. You're not put on the Earth in the same actual family, but eventually you find your way to each other. And I truly believe that.
Yeah.
And like the people that I've met that I've like really bonded to, I'm like, we were meant to find each other in this lifetime.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I believe it too. It's just reassuring, isn't it? You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Yeah. So anyone listening, and I do think that's who, I don't have a huge following on here, but I definitely hear from people that it means something to them. And that's all that matters to me, is like, I would, we'll keep trying to get it out to people that need it, that need to know they're not alone either. And like, hey, listen, we've been through some hard stuff, but we got a resource with whatever this is, light, I will just call it. So anyway, so you got, again, this was after this recent surgery, or no? When was this?
So this was a year and a half ago. Yeah, I broke my short leg. Ended up having some.
Oh, I love
fragments.
that. That's what you call it.
Yeah. I find stuff to be derogatory. Shorty. So I was like, okay. And that's what I was sitting in my physical therapy office one day, and I looked at him and I was like, it's my short leg. And he was like, what? And I was like, I want you to call it my short leg, because honestly, it's just a short leg. I just have to add a piece to make it a full leg. And he was like, that makes sense. Okay. So
I love that.
Yeah.
So you just had surgery on your short leg.
Yep.
And then that was a year and a half. What was it?
October of 24.
And that's when you final straw with your mom.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I called her, and after like an hour after she left, and I was like, I tried to like talk and say, hey, can you come back? We'll talk about it another time, but like, can you just come back? And she just kept screaming into the phone, and all I said was like, I love you, and I want to have a relationship, but we can't, and I wish you nothing but good good wishes. And I hung up the phone and I never called her again. And it was like that surgery that like started a chaos circle of another year and a half of medical trauma. So it was just like having to reconcile the grief of like the loss of the connection with my parents while going through this like a second like major medical crisis was like, wow, we have to do some healing.
Yeah. So what did you resource? Well, how did you resource with all that?
It was, and this was.
Is that when you moved to Denver?
Yeah. So I broke my short leg in August 24. I had the first surgery. And during that surgery, I ended up, the team had nicked me with the bovie and left an open wound on my leg. And so I was like, hey guys, this isn't okay. And they're like, you'll be fine. You're young and healthy. Well, I was back on the operating table 2 weeks later because it was deeply infected. They excised the wound and they're like, here's some antibiotics. You'll be just fine. And so I was like, okay. And I messaged him like 2 weeks later. I was like, man, I finished this antibiotic. I still feel like garbage. And a month later, I was back in their office like, man, I still feel like garbage. I cried for 2 hours in their office. And I was like, man, something's not right. And they're like, you just have anxiety because you have all this medical trauma. And that's what they said for 2 hours. And I was like, okay, well, if that's what you're saying, because like, so then January of 25, I moved to Denver because I was like, okay, my job's out here more. So I was like, I'm just going to move to Denver. All my major medical stuff is out here in Denver. So like, may as well. Like, so moved out. 2 days later, I ended up in the ER. 2 days after I moved because my leg ballooned.
Septic almost. Cellulitis.
Yep. Just major infection. And so they opened my leg back up. They flushed out the tissue and they stitched me back up. And
are these the same surgeons?
They're the same surgeons.
Is this the same surgeon that did your original amputation?
No.
That was the good one.
That was the good one. And he retired. And that's what I was so mad about.
The trustworthy surgeon.
I know. I liked him a lot. I mean, granted, his operative report was like, yes, cut leg off. She did good. I did good. And like that was
not a lot of detail.
Yeah, it was a typical ortho bro report, I was just like, yep, there you go. I did good job. She feel better.
But he did do a good job.
He did a great job.
But this second team, anyway, okay, yeah. So they went in, cleaned it all out, put it back together.
And they had to give me a PICC line because at that point I had been on antibiotics and like they weren't working. And so what happened with the PICC line? I got a blood clot. So they put me on blood thinners. So fast forward, my very first menstrual cycle and I bleed out. Like I am hemorrhaging and I had to get iron transfusions in the ER because I was bleeding so profusely. And I was like, man, my leg is feeling worse and worse and worse. Well, I went back in. There's a bone infection. Because they didn't catch that when they went in. They were like, oh, we're just going to flush it out real quick. Well, it had been 4 months from the original surgery when I got the infection to when they cut me open again. So it just festered in there for so long. So I had to have yet another surgery. So all this time is like I'm sitting in a wheelchair because I'm in so much pain again. And I'm like, oh, my God, what is happening? Like this is reliving trauma over and over.
Wow. So did that same team go back in and clean up the bone?
Yep.
And then, okay.
Yeah.
I just like, I'm done with that. Can we be done with them also? Are we going to keep them or what?
A little bit longer.
You have to, huh?
Well,
because you're still in the recovery phase from all that.
You're in the recovery phase. Not only that, but the amount of skilled amputation surgeons that are willing to operate on somebody with a history of CRPS is slim to none.
So you beggars can't be choosers. Yep. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really challenging because once you have that big scary diagnosis in there, people are like, oh, if I touch you, it's coming back. And so like that's their biggest fear is like you become a liability.
Oh, wow.
And so like there's very few people that are like, oh yeah, I can do it. And so I'm like, I'm dying. Like what's happening? And so I'm 3 weeks post-op from this bone infection surgery where they've cut off. Now I'm missing like 2 more inches of my leg overall. And I'm like, great, that's
now wait, do your legs not fit now?
No, you have to after every surgery, once your limb shape changes, you have to get a new socket because you're either swollen or
so whole new leg?
Whole new setup.
Wow.
So that's why I have a box of legs.
Why do I have a box of legs? Like a junk drawer?
Yeah, pretty much. They're all unusable, but they're really cool. So when you come up with an art project, I'd be glad to take the idea.
You need a leg locker. You're going to have like a big, I have a set of lockers, maybe that, the tall one.
That's a good idea.
Oh, gosh. So, okay. How many weeks post-op are you now? Are you months?
I'm since December, so almost 4 months. 4
So
months.
still kind of new.
Very new.
Wow, amazing that you have a reset. Like you have a reset button, like reset.
Yep.
I will. Yeah, I got reset. Happy amputee.
Yep. Oh yeah, and going through all this too is like, okay, now I've gone no contact with my parents, and one of the things that I've found that's beneficial is like all these people that have come out of the woodworks. I've got these aunts that have come out of the woodworks that are like, I'm so glad I get to have this relationship with you now. And I'm like, this is the most healing thing I've ever had. And I have this wonderful like women's only support group that there's a bunch of us missing legs and hands and arms, and we get to just like chat with each other and support each other. And so I have this wonderful group that I get to have support from too during this time. And
oh, fantastic. You're meeting some really interesting, powerful women.
Yep.
I love that. So there's a subgroup of amputees, the women amputees.
Yeah.
Because for women, I think body issues are bigger, because it's such a lookus society for females, so I think that's wonderful. Is there anything out there? I remember Paul McCartney was married to an amputee for a while. Is there anything, are you familiar with her at all? She was a model, I thought. I don't know. I can't think of her name. I was just curious. I feel like she should be on a speaker tour too.
Yeah.
But are you going to be doing some speaking? Like, do you do public events? Or?
I have done quite a few public speaking events, actually.
Really?
On my little Linktree list, I've got, probably a dozen different podcasts I've been on. I've been a keynote speaker at an adaptive sports event. And so it's just nice to be able to, like, share my story and, like, share why things are so important. Do a lot of mental health talks because it's so important.
I mean, it's amazing that you have this attitude after so much, I would say, medical betrayal. It's wild, how many of these people just drop the ball. I don't want to probably talk about litigation, but I'm like, get a lawyer. I mean, this is crazy. Like from the very beginning, not seeing the fracture and then all on and on and on and on. But I know litigation is crazy.
This started because I slipped on ice at work. So that workman's comp settlement, actually, that's the only reason I have a house, because I lost a leg. So.
Okay, that's the silver lining.
It is. I own a house.
All right.
As a millennial.
Okay, all right. And that's another reason to be the happy amputee.
Yeah.
Well, for sure. Take the silver lining.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, they neglected to take care of what they needed to take care of. And also, like you said, there was no OSHA. You also got exposed. I don't know if that was the same job where you got exposed to a lot of environmental hazards and stuff like that, where people don't look at you as a whole person,
Yeah.
So, well, good. I'm glad that you got some compensation, to help you have a home for you and your dogs.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're getting ready to go on a trip.
Yeah. My very first vacation ever.
In your whole life.
In my whole...
How old are you now?
33.
At 33 years old, a first vacation.
Yeah.
And tell me about it.
I ended up getting a scholarship for an adaptive diving group in Denver. And so we're going on our a week-long trip to the Cayman Islands. And so I'm so excited.
Woo, beautiful. Those blue waters down there.
Yeah.
And you're going to go scuba diving and get certified?
Yep. Yeah, I've taken all the classes, so all this is the first, from what I understand, is the first 2 days are going to be the certification dives, and then after that, you just get to go have fun and be a full-blown diver, I guess. So
I love that. I love that juxtaposed with, the suicidal ideation of like, I don't want to be here. I'm going to go to the beach, drink margaritas and merge with the sand, to where I'm going to just go have fun and light and, experience this beautiful, like, I've never scuba dived. I love snorkeling though. I adore it. I love just being in the water.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about moving to Belize if anybody wants to go.
I would join.
Okay. All right. Well, see, this may be, we may find our community that way. I will say, I don't know if it's because when I was 28, like my old soul supposedly left, I got a new one. So I have an indigo soul. So I do hang out with a lot of millennials for some reason, also very immature. But I do, in some ways, I'm an old boomer. In some ways, I feel very young. So I don't know. But I would love it. I'd love to be in your vibe, in your tribe. I try not to do cultural appropriation. I call it a vibe.
Yes.
I'd love to be in your vibe. That'll be so cool. I hope you send some pictures. I want to see. Will you have those on your Instagram?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
The Happy Amputee scuba diving. Is there anything, do you do anything with the limb, or do you just leave is there a flipper limb? Or?
There's some out there, but the only thing I've done is I've taken my leg entirely off.
Yeah.
And it's actually really freeing because when you're in the water, it's just like you float and when you scuba dive. So you're not having to swim. Like when I go to the pool, I swim in circles. And so.
Do you, like a shark?
Yeah.
So. I bet it is interesting, like treading water with one leg. We should all try it. I think it's interesting to have empathy that way. Like next time I get in the pool, we have a pool here, I might try and tread water or try to swim without using one of my limbs. I don't know.
It's a lot of work.
Well, and it's also not balanced. I can't simulate it exactly.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if there was an adaptive fin or something like that goes on there. There probably are. There are probably some triathletes that must swim.
Yeah.
I wonder, they probably do have an adaptive.
Yeah. I mean, there's some different attachment, and the biggest thing is like the difference between freshwater and saltwater, right? So that saltwater is going to corrode away all the little metal pieces, and
forget it.
Yeah, so not a lot of stuff. So a lot of the people that do have the adaptive water legs are for freshwater or pool water,
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you to get to have this experience and be free. It's just to have that. It's almost like going skinny dipping or something. Mm-hmm. It feels good, right? When your leg is just in the water. Yeah. Does it feel good to have water on your leg now?
Oh, 100%. I've always been that person that I connect with the water. Moving to a desert in Grand Junction was one of the hardest things because there's no bodies of water you can just go sit in and just connect with Mother Earth. Yeah. And you're just I felt so anxious for the first year and a half when I was I don't know how to handle this because I grew up on the river and in that space, and so
yeah. Well, I love going to this place down in San Luis Valley called Joyful Journey Hot Springs, and they have a bunch of there's lithium or something in the water. It's very relaxing.
Love that.
But I was curious, if you go to a pool or a place like that, do you just wear your prosthetics out, or do you do crutches, or how do you get to the water? If you wanted to go soak at Joyful Journey, and you just need to walk a little ways to get to the hot springs, do you just take it? You could just leave it at poolside, right?
Yeah.
You can just take it off right there.
Yeah, usually that's what I'll do is I'll either take my knee crutch, depending on where I'm at, because that's easier, and I'll just unhook a couple latches and then leave that by the poolside rather than have to bring a towel and dry my leg off and roll my liner back on. And it's a whole complicated thing.
Oh, so that's a lot of layering.
Yeah.
A knee crutch. Okay.
Yeah, it's really unique, actually. I don't see a lot of people using them, but you just, it is what it is. You strap it to your thigh and you rest your knee on a crutch here. Oh. And so you just peg leg it around.
I love it.
It's great.
I love it. Do you put on an eye patch? That's what I used to have to wear. I'll be your sidekick. I'll be your sidekick with the eye patch.
There we go.
Then you'll know which eye to talk to at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Peg-legged around. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Kayla. Any other resources you want to share with people, things that they should know about if somebody's going through something new? I think about people at what is it called? Craig, hospital where there's a lot of rehab for amputees and people that go through paraplegia and things like that. You already mentioned some of the resources we'll put in the show notes, but anything else that you just think is a great resource for people to have so they know, with amputations or how to find this person that does these beautiful sculptures. Should we give him a shout out?
So my prosthetist is down at Evergreen Prosthetics and Orthotics. I love them dearly because, they make crazy cool artwork on top of making really great legs because you have to have a comfortable leg to be able to walk again. No, they do really great work, and that's why I started as a patient. I work for them now, but
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and see, I did not know that, and we are giving them a shout out right now. No, seriously, what is the name of it again?
Evergreen Prosthetics and Orthotics.
And what a perfect job for you.
Oh, it's such a wonderful thing because I went from having like 15 members of my support group. The VA out in Grand Junction shut their support group down and was like, here's my members. Now you have 80 people. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So I showed up at this conference like 3 years ago. And I was like, I was just like complaining to all the people, all the other amputees. I was like, man, I can't get a good leg fit. And like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm so far behind. And this guy was like, how would you like to open a clinic? And I was like, what? And he's like, I'm the vice president of this company. I was like, that's amazing. And so I started this clinic out in Grand Junction. And now what I do for them is I provide peer support for free, whether you're a patient of ours or not. And so all I do is I talk to people all day about like how going through this amputation process, like what is your journey going to look like? How do we get you the support you need? Do you need house modifications? Do you need financial grants? Do you need just like a buddy to like go to coffee and just like talk about the hardships of what you're going through? Like,
This is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we did a part 2. No, it does. It feels full circle. You know, that you're, in my recovery program, we say we go from hurting to healing to helping.
Yep.
And it's like, you're in that, you're full circle.
Yeah.
And it's nonlinear. So there might be a time where you need support when you're going through all this stuff, but now you're not alone with it.
Yeah.
You've got this incredible team that you work with, these brilliant engineers and artists and, people, I guess that the prosthetist, is that what they're called? See, I didn't even know about a prosthetist.
Yeah.
That is incredible. So you service a clinic in Grand Junction as well as Denver?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you go back and forth?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you go back and forth? Do you usually drive?
I just drive.
I love Glenwood Canyon. Can I tell you, it's my favorite canyon on earth.
Is it?
I've driven 300,000 miles I put on my Honda Accord doing comedy in the 90s, and I'm like, this is my favorite little, I love that little stretch in there.
It's beautiful.
It really is. Although it's vulnerable, like when we have a fire or
Yep.
things get shut down. But I did get stranded there with a fire on my way to a festival once, and Hawk came over and said, it's going to be okay. And I'm like, I barely made it in time. But I will say, of all the places to get stranded, not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's so great that you're doing that. Thank you for sharing all that. And so we're going to share this. We'll get this up, and you should be at every amputee conference giving keynotes.
I try.
Yeah.
I've spoken a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, well, keep going. This is amazing. People need to hear your story. So thanks for sharing it here on Traumedy.
Yeah.
And we'll be hanging out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah, see you again.
Yes,
Okay.
thanks.
I want to thank my guest, Kayla Inman. You can find her on all the socials at the Happy Amputee. And do go check out Kayla's Instagram, the Happy Amputee. She just received an award, an incredible award, the Hope Beyond Limits Award from the Limb Preservation Foundation. Go listen to her speech on Instagram and see these beautiful pictures of her with her fancy prosthetic, with her fancy dress. And I'm just so impressed and so moved and so glad to have a new friend in Kayla Inman. Don't give up. Keep trying. And remember, no matter what, keep laughing.